Steam locomotives were some of the most powerful machines ever built. They pulled trains that fueled our imagination. They represented vision, collaboration, ingenuity, customer service, and extraordinary human achievement. But in order to get to their destination, it took someone guiding them through a series of switches in order to get to the main line. Just like leaders today, it takes someone directing them down the right path in order to get to their destination. Welcome to Mainline Executive Coaching ACT, which stands for and Cultural Transformation, hosted by Master Certified Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaches Michael Bailey and Rich Barron. With over 50 years of successful cultural transformation and quantum leadership development between them. Brought to you by Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaching, the world's foremost authority on cultural transformation and intelligent leadership development. Once again, thanks for joining us and enjoy today's show.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today at Mainline Executive Coaching ACT. I'm here with my partner, Rich Barron. I am Michael Bailey. We're excited to bring to you a new format that we've been thinking about and doing some work on, and now we're going to introduce it. We're going to launch it. It's a new way to present information about leadership and about cultures that we think will be excited for everybody. We think it's going to be a great thing for all of us. It'll be PowerPoint presentations and discussions. We're going to be also providing worksheets that you can now watch, take a look at this. We don't have it this week, but we'll be having these worksheets that you can actually work it through, think it through, so that you're not just not getting information, but you're now starting to really get into the process of learning and integration so that you can get that process for yourself of changing. Before we get started, why don't you, Rich, just tell us a little bit about what you think. How many of these podcasts have we done to get us to this point of, formalize it a little bit? Give us a little bit of your thoughts on that.
We are now at about 107 episodes. I believe this is our 107th episode, 108th episode. But it took a while. It took a long time to really define what we wanted, how we wanted to do. We initially really scripted things, but found that it was better if we could just talk through these topics. Anytime we brought someone on that had a new vision of leadership, or could talk about a little bit different aspect of leadership and how their experiences, we were able to talk through with them and just make it an open conversation. And we're getting now to the point where we're kind of coming full circle again, where we're really going to start laying out some very specifics on different topics. And having that so we can have an open forum if people want to join us. And also if they want the worksheet that you're gonna put together based on a lot of these topics that you can work through as we talk about these things, and make it in a kind of an interactive forum, as well as a podcast. Up to this point, we have followers in 38 countries and over 250 cities worldwide.
Yeah. And
it has taken a while to get there. And we appreciate everyone's support. We truly appreciate you listening to what we have to say. And thank you. But hopefully this new format that we're going to be working on, especially over the next 10 podcasts, we're going to be focusing on specifically why leaders fail.
Yeah, great stuff.
And not only why leaders fail, why organizations fail because of poor leadership.
And what they can do about it.
And what they can do to fix that, absolutely.
And we'll also be following up with a newsletter that will go along with what we're doing from week to week. And we're going to build this whole thing out so that you folks will have like a library of references about leadership and developing leadership and about culture and how to improve culture. So we're actually going to be giving to you, if you decide to join our membership, which is free at this point anyway, but we imagine it'll probably stay free, so that you can actually come in and see what it is that we've got going on and the kinds of helps that we can give you. So let's get going here. So Let's start. Do you want to, can I take this screen here and start with it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Go. I think you're set to go.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to go into the presentation mode now. Slideshow from right from the beginning. Can you see that okay, Rich?
Yep, yeah, it is there.
All right, excellent, excellent. So why leaders fail? This is the number one reason, folks, that leaders fail. And it's because employees feel a lack of respect. That's a key thing here. Now, this is coming out of, it's based on findings by MIT, SMR, and Glassdoor Culture. They did a survey of 1 million employees. So there's a lot of data here. There's a lot of evidence here. There's a lot that's going into this that I think is really important for everybody to understand. Now, one of the things that it's about, and I'd like to hear your comments on this as well, Rich, is that there are topics that you can talk about what makes a great culture or what takes away from a great culture. This first one here about the lack of respect. If you just had like an average kind of a topic about, yeah, we never disagree or whatever. This particular one, the lack of respect is 17.9 times more powerful in terms of, saying if a culture is going to be successful or if that culture is going to be sunk.
Yep.
So
and how the leadership of that organization is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, 1.4 million employee reviews. I mean, so this has some weight behind it.
Well, absolutely. And so leaders pay attention to this because of employees worldwide. I guess it's worldwide, but Glassdoor, yes, the United States anyway, yeah. Probably Canada, probably some other places as well. If you take a look at that, this is a pretty large slice of the pie in terms of how the people you hire, how the people that you have in your offices and in your manufacturing places and where that may be, how they view this topic of respect and the lack thereof. So let's get into it because this is a powerful thing to understand. So the first thing is this lack of respect. So this is the lack of respect, and we've actually kind of broken it down into like 5 areas that we'll be examining. There's obviously the lack of respect. There's lack of recognition. All of these are just kind of different nuances, a little different angles on how employees look at you in terms of how you're treating me. A lack of regard for them, what's going on with them.
Yes. Lack
of resources and a lack of response. We've talked about lack of responses before, and that's no little thing. That's actually a huge thing. So anything on that real quick?
No, all of these issues, we can talk about all these issues for, quite a while.
Yeah, okay.
The lack of respect, the lack of recognition, lack of regard for their skills, for their talents, for their time, lack of resources. Do you actually provide the tools that your employees need to be successful? And that changes constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, keeping up with technology is absolutely critical for, to be successful, and for these employees coming to you with these phenomenal skills. You've got to have the resources and the tools for them to be successful. And lack of response, are you ignoring them? And we're going to break all these down. Right. Or is your time, the amount of time it takes for you to respond, taking too long? Do you have to run this by a committee and then have the committee get back to you, and then you can finally get it approved through your attorneys before you can respond?
Just in time for you to go on vacation, and when you get back, you'll get that out to them.
Yeah, and then you'll be right in the middle of the Great Resignation and the Great Recoil.
Great Recoil. That's right. All right, so lack of respect. Let's take a look at just in terms of what's the definition of respect. Now, interesting, respect is a transitive verb, and a transitive verb means it's something that you do to something or someone. So it's you taking action, you're doing something. And in this case, respect means an act of giving particular attention, not general, but particular, high or special regard, the quality or state of being esteemed. So these are what people are looking for just generally. Are you giving them specific attention? Are you giving them a sense of special regard or high regard? Is that what you're doing with your employees there? And also, how do you esteem them? How do you value them? So let's go to what does that lack look like? When you lack doing this, you're not giving any particular attention. You're not being specific with your employees, whether it's your immediate group that you're working with or further down the line of people that are working for you in the organizational chart there. There's nothing special or particular that you're doing. You're not giving high or special regard. There's nothing that you're passing on in terms of, here's how I see you. Here's how I'm connecting with you. And then there's really no esteeming or valuing of others.
Yeah, I want to jump in here on this.
Go ahead,
Michael. Leadership turnover right now is at an all-time high. And even during this great resignation, we saw a very big portion of Fortune 1000 company CEOs and senior leadership that were some of the ones that resigned. They left. We see this esteeming, valuing others, and valuing others or giving high or special regard. One of the primary reasons for, especially in the leadership, turnover is feeling undervalued.
Yeah.
Undervalued. That's one of the primary reasons for turnover. And especially in, you see a lot of these exit interviews and things like that, these surveys, undervalued was one of the primary reasons.
And then you as a leader yourself, you may be feeling that.
Yes.
You may be feeling these very things that as a leader, you're not being given particular attention to. I mean, you're just supposed to go do it or something, or nobody's giving you a sense of, that we regard you in a special way or as a high way, or the sense of being valued yourself. That starts telling you a little something about the culture itself. So here's where it comes in. And so this is not going on. This is not going on in terms of respect. Let's get to the next one here. The lack of recognition. What's lack of recognition about? Again, it's a transitive verb. It's something that you do to someone. It's something that you're connecting with them and you're doing, all right, them in terms of recognizing, in terms of a special notice or attention. It kind of goes back to that whole thing of respect. This is now getting into some of the more details of it. When you come into the office, how do you greet people? Are you saying good morning to people? Or are you just passing by the receptionist or whoever it is? You're just going right to work here? Or do you take time to say hi? Do you to say how people are doing? Just kind of connect. Maybe you can't do that every day, but more times than not, you're connecting. You're recognizing those people. It makes a huge difference. You've talked about just going into a building and seeing how that receptionist greets you.
Yes.
Right. And those people generally are pretty people kind of oriented people. They're
Yes.
good at doing all the detailed work, but they're also people kind of people. If you're not treating that receptionist in a way that makes her or him feel good, they're not getting that from you.
Yeah.
How do they give it to somebody else? It makes it harder for them.
Absolutely.
If you're going in and you're filling their bucket every day by talking to them, how's it going today? How's the family? How's the da-da-da-da-da? How's you're training for a marathon or whatever it is. How's that going? Just that little bit of banter, a little bit of chit chat.
Yeah.
Makes all the difference for these folks throughout the company, throughout your people. So if you're not doing that, if you're not giving this to your people, that you're not recognizing them, you're just not taking the time to take a look and see what's going on, nor are you giving that special attention and detail.
Yeah.
Now, let's ask this question. Does anybody like to be treated like a generalist, like a whatever, just like a number?
No, nobody wants to be treated like a number or a generalist.
No.
People want to be recognized for maybe a specific set of skills or talents that they bring to the table. We're all different. We all have different abilities, and it's important to recognize those individuals who have those abilities.
Right. And along with that, it's not, hey, you, how are you doing today? It's, hi, Bob, how's it going? Jill, how are you doing today? What's going on? Recognizing them by their names.
Yeah.
And what's going on with them in the office there, or maybe some things you know about them in regards to what's going on. Maybe they got a sick parent, or a kid that's in a baseball or something, that just being able to recognize and give special attention
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Big deal, big dividends. What Covey talks about, those emotional deposits, in their emotional bank accounts. That's exactly what he's talking about here. Let's go on to this one. Lack of regard. Now that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Lack of regard. Let's take a look at what that's about. It's a transitive verb. It's regard. It's something that you give. And in this case, it's kind of interesting. It's a protective interest. Now, I know you're big into that. Protecting your employees, a protective interest. Doesn't mean protecting them from the responsibilities, but it's a sense like, you're here and you're kind of my charge, and kind of we're working together. I'm going to look out for you. I'm looking out for you. It's just not your job, but there's this special connection. I'm looking out for you. Feeling of respect and affection. Have you ever had people that you work for and it's just, you like them? It's not like I got to go up and give them a big, wet, slurpy kiss.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of a thing. You just feel this affection, affinity for them. You just like them,
Right.
The worth or estimation in which something or someone is held. Worth. There it is, that regard for you. You matter. It's that whole thing. You belong to a special team here. This is a high level team, or we're working to develop into something.
Yeah.
And we're working hard at it. You belong here, and we want you to measure up and be part of this. We want you to bring value, your talents and your experience, to what it is that we're doing here. So that sense of, we hold you in high regard.
You bring something, you just said something, and holding people in high regard, and you belong and you matter.
Yeah.
It's important. We've read about this. The San Antonio Spurs, are a great example of this. Their coach really focused on making everybody believe, or not believe, but know they mattered, to know they were part of something bigger. And it was a safe place to give 100% effort. It's a safe place. You were held in regard.
Which means it's a safe place to make mistakes.
Absolutely, exactly. That's 100% effort, because everybody's going to make mistakes, but we make mistakes, we fail. Let's use that term. Sometimes people fail in their efforts. That's important for success. That's important to learn the next level.
That's right. And unless you feel that sense of interest and protecting that person in terms of, look, I know this didn't work out, but I'm still working here with you. I respect you. I like you. Let's figure out, let's get this past this thing that didn't work out. Let's keep moving forward. So if someone is not doing that, they're not in that protective interest, there's no interest to protect, or there's negative interest. That is, they're instead of protecting, you're attacking. Do you put down your employees? Do you say derogative things? Do you say snide things to them? Do you say things that make them feel bad? Do you shame them? That's just exactly what the problem is for some leaders. They're doing those negative things. A feeling of there's no feeling of respect, no feeling of affection, no giving positive worth and estimation for someone. What it is you're withholding it.
Yep, and that creates burnout. It truly does. It creates burnout, trying to gain that appreciation. A lot of these people are working really hard to get some kind of appreciation out of what they do, and they get burned out quickly. Again, one of the primary reasons for high leadership turnover.
Yeah, there he goes. And so even the leaders that, that next level, they may not be doing that.
Right.
And so if you don't, again, if you like the reception, unless you're filling her bucket up or his bucket up with, how you doing? It's a great day. Glad to have you here. I'm glad you're part of the team. Unless you're helping to fill their bucket up with those positive emotions, she's going to have, or he's going to have a hard time delivering. Same thing for you leaders at that higher level, director's level, C level. If you're not passing that down, then that you become the culture of neglect. You become the culture of withholding. You become the culture of just do it what I say, without any real sincere or genuine interest in other people. So this is a big deal. The regard thing is a big deal. Let's go to this one. This is a real interesting. Lack of resources. This is really, really interesting. I know you had some comments about that.
Yeah, we can really jump into this lack of resources. And I think we're going to do that here in just a few minutes, but this is critical. It truly is important.
So a lack of supply and support. Sometimes people need stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever it is they need, whether it's information, whether it's the reports or how to do a report or how to, manage some specific processes or how to deal with another team. They need that sense of here's the information that you need, a source of information and expertise. That's what you are as leaders. You are a source of information and expertise. Guaranteed, because we hear it all the time. Leaders or people in leadership positions, sometimes they just don't know what to do. They don't know what is expected of them.
Yeah.
That those upper levels, especially the C-suite, is not communicating clearly what it is that they want, what's expected. What are we doing here? Well, just kind of figure it out. Well, oftentimes you would just go figure it out. Many times, few times it's not, but many times it's that the C level or that directorship or whatever that other level is, they haven't figured it out.
No, they haven't figured it out, or they're pinning their hopes or pinning what they truly need to get done on somebody else.
Yeah, and it's not that you don't hire experts and talented people to go in and do that kind of stuff. There's a difference between just go do whatever and you figure it out and them knowing what it is that you want.
Versus direction.
Yeah, direction, vision, exactly, all those kinds of things. Also the possibility of relief or recovery. If you're working your people too hard, you're just too hard, too many hours, week after week, a lot of overtime kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
What they look to you as a resource is, can you give me some relief? Can you give me some opportunity to recover? Because if you just keep driving me and hounding me and keep demanding of me, I don't see you as a source of resources for me. I don't see you as a help. I see you actually as a detriment.
As a hindrance. Yeah.
Yeah, hindrance. There you go. So the lack of supplying the resources, you're supplying for getting the job done. You're not giving it. You're not providing it. You're just not doing it. Or you're telling them to, well, make do. I was working with a guy that's just saying he was in an impossible situation. It's not impossible. Yeah. You've got to get more hours out of these people. And as they were driving the numbers, looking at the data and so on and so forth, it was impossible. Well, I can't get what you want because, we got to change this up. We need to hire some more people. Well, there's no more money. Well, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
What do you want from me? Well, you're just going to have to do something there.
Well, and here's the deal too. If you're running people into a lot of overtime during the week, whatever, and they're, especially hourly employees or whatever, if you're saying, okay, we don't have the money, but yet you got the money to pay overtime, it's easier and it's better to hire a couple more employees and lower that overtime and get more output from your team.
And that goes back to things like, how do you regard your people?
Yes.
How you help?
Are they your cogs in your machine?
Yeah. How do you really esteem them? How do you value them? How are you protecting them? How are you helping them out? And so you can start to see here, but just going through these points here, why the lack of respect counts 18 times more powerfully in determining a culture's success or the lack thereof 18 times than just the everyday conversation.
Yeah. And Michael, there's a way around this too.
Yeah.
Some of these things you're talking about is lack of supply, lack of relief, or lack of recovery. But here's the thing, in today's world with supply chain issues and everything else, some of that supply might be difficult to come by, but there's no shortage of good communication. There should be no shortage of good communication amongst your team and telling them, not only amongst your team, but so they can provide the same information to customers, internal or external. The reasons why we're not getting it right now, but we have a time frame. And don't blow smoke.
Yeah.
Don't give false hopes. Be honest in your communication, because that's as important as anything. This is about a time it's going to take to get this due to whatever reason. But be honest, and communicate. That's as much a part of the respect as anything else we talked about.
And how can we work together in the meantime?
Yeah.
They say that these notions here that we'll be going over the next few weeks they are more important than a lot of the things that people think are important, like flex time, like having these areas where you can go play video games and big screen stuff, and the barista bar and all that kind of stuff. These are many, many more times more important than those little accoutrements, those cool things.
Oh yeah,
things, right?
The bells and whistles.
Yeah, and the reason for that is very simple, and it's that human beings haven't changed. They have not changed over hundreds or thousands of years. Human beings still have specific kinds of needs that they really require.
Yes.
Sometimes we get caught up in all the fluff and the ribbon and the nonsense, the sparkles. That's not what human beings need. This is the stuff that they need. This is exactly what it is that they need. And if you will start, leaders, if you'll start paying attention to these things and do something, you're going to start noticing a difference. Let's move on here. This last one here, lack of response here. So that goes to verb, it's a response, an act of responding. Well, duh. Okay. How about that one? Something constituting a reply or a reaction. In other words, I've asked for something, I've asked a question, or, whatever it may be. Respond.
Yeah.
Say something, get me an email. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a meeting. Even if it's a meeting in the hallway, you say, I got the email. I'm going to get back to you. Do something. The worst thing you can do is to ignore somebody. That's the worst thing. Neglect, ignoring, just not paying any attention to. That's horrible on human beings' psyche. Yeah. It's terrible. Any thoughts on that one?
This is a lack of response. And I'm going to ask, I want to pose a question more than a statement, is how many employees of yours do you feel are afraid to approach you because of the reaction or the response you might give them? Yeah. If you have employees that are afraid to even approach you, to talk to you, then you really need to take a deep look at how have I responded in the past? How have I reacted in the past? Am I an open door? And are the people around me, do they feel comfortable talking with me? That's a legitimate question. It's more than just a response. It's a question, and it's one of action. You need to really take a look at that.
Yeah, those are very valid points. So a lack of response, the lack of taking action or acting or responding, a genuine reply or reaction to a need or something requested or required. The biggest cowards out there right now in business, and I say this and I mean this, it's cowardliness, are those that get requests that need assistance, that required assistance, direction, and they don't respond.
Yes.
That, leaders, is an act of cowardness. It's just being a coward. There's no other way to say it. I don't know what you need to get a backbone or whatever it is, but if you're not responding to genuine requests for help, direction, supplies, whatever's going on, you, my friend, are a coward. And there's no other way to say it.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, these leaders need to understand that leadership is something that you literally hold people's careers in your hand. How you're gonna help them respond, react, all these things, show respect. You literally have their careers in your hand. How are you gonna take care of it?
It's a privilege, right?
It's a privilege, absolutely.
It's a position. You have been blessed, however you want to see it, by fortune, by God, by whatever it is. You've been blessed with this position, and your job now is to be able to create a level of abundance for other people in their jobs to succeed. That's what that's all about. So let's do this. Let's wrap this up. We're going to give you some things to stop doing and things to start doing here. So leadership from failure to success. Here's some action steps. Rich, we're going to give them some action steps. All right.
Okay. Yeah,
We'll
absolutely.
start here. Stop ignoring your employees. That ought to be pretty evident by now, right? Stop ignoring them. Instead, connect with individual employees one at a time, not just generally. Connect with them. Get out, know their names. What's going on with them? How's the business going? How's these processes? How's the team working here? Go and connect with them one at a time. Not just
Absolutely.
do it one at a time. You're good at that stuff. Taking your employees for granted. Stop doing that. And then instead, recognize employees by name and who they are. And I'd add to what they do. You know,
Yes.
that level of appreciation about it. That's a big deal. Next one, dismissing your employees as if they are the problem and have little or no value other than just go do your whatever, your that stuff. Stop doing that. Instead, esteem, protect, and express your feelings and appreciation.
I want to stop you right there for a second, Michael. I want to go back to this dismissing your employees as if they are the problem and have little or no value. I have seen this in several instances. And this goes back to one thing we just talked about resources. A lot of time, and I have seen this where people feel individuals do not have the right skill set, or they're not engaged enough, or have the ability to do the job you want them to. So what do? You find a replacement for them, right? Well, that person comes into the exact same situation as the person you just said, well, you don't have the right skill set. Sorry, we're going to find someone else. Do you truly have the tools for them to be successful? And have you trained these people on these tools effectively? You can't just dismiss your employees as if they are the problem. That's this thing. That's the blame game. That's the blame salute. It's your fault. It's not mine, because you don't have the skills to do what I want you to do. And, I'm sorry you don't have the right tools, but figure it out anyway. Shame on you. I got to say that. If that's how you truly are looking at people and their skills and their abilities, and you yourself have not taken the time to really determine if why they're struggling, that's on your head. That's not on theirs. And exactly. You may have just lost somebody that could be a key employee for you going down the road. But now you started over, and I've seen this.
And if they are a good person in terms of their talent, what they bring to work, somebody else is going to snap them up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's finish these up here. Ignoring the requests for help, training, and information, which you were just talking about there.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Engage and ask where you can help them do their jobs better. Ask. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
What do you need? What kind of assistance can I give you? Tell me honestly, openly, what's going on here so that we can make those improvements, get that assistance to you.
And listen to what they're telling you.
Yeah.
Be open. That's part of that, being vulnerable, being humble, being open enough to really understand that you may be a part of the problem. You may not realize it. And it may be something that you're completely unaware of. But when you get out and you ask these questions and you engage your people and you listen and you allow them to give you honest, real feedback, not only do they feel safe, they'll feel safer doing that, but you've just been given an opportunity to improve on your own ability.
Yeah.
That's priceless. That's priceless.
Absolutely. And confidence.
Yes.
Confidence is such a struggle for people. It is such a huge struggle. You start responding to your employees those ways that we're talking about here. Your confidence will strengthen. Your confidence will be passed on to them. They will feel more confident. And in turn, your relationship, you will have more confidence in your relationship with them and they with you. So there's huge benefits about it. So learning to engage your employees in real conversations here. So to kind of wrap this up here, take a look at this, leaders, if you would. Which side of the ledger are you on? Are you on this side? You have all of them, or maybe there's one or two that you need to move over here. And then look at this side over here, this side of the ledger. This side, the right side here, leaders, this is where your greatness in your leadership can really begin to blossom. Focus here. Change your attitude. Change your behavior. Focus your mind on doing these things. This is where your engagement in terms of your internal leadership development will really begin to come forth.
Yeah.
We can help you out with that.
And you just mentioned something, Michael, too. Change your mind, change your mindset. This is all about changing your mindset. You change your mindset about how you need to approach things. You know, we start to, here's the thing. You are only as good, a leader is only as good as the people who surround him or her. That's it. They're no better than the sum of the whole. And that whole is everybody around you, regardless of whether they're entry-level employees or PhD engineers. It doesn't matter. Leaders are only as good as the people around them. And if you fail to understand that, when you fail to understand that, and you do not take the time to truly look in the mirror and say, how can I be better tomorrow? And I saw something, I saw something the other day, Michael. I was leaving a store, and right on the window going out, it was just a reminder. It just said, make someone smile today. You can break that out in a million different ways, but I'll tell you what, there's more to this than just work. There truly is. How are you going to make someone smile today? Are you going to make your employees smile today? Are you going to make them feel valued today? Are you going to make them feel welcome and engaged and respected? It really comes down to who we are and the type of legacy we want to leave as individuals. And if it's numbers, and if it's quotas and barriers to success, you truly need to come talk to us.
Amen. All right, excellent. So if they want to get a hold of us and talk to us, how do we do it? How do they do it?
Executive Leaders Act, ILEC.com. And on there, if you go to the About page, there's about the coaches. You can find some assessments to take that really will help you learn kind of where you are as a leader. And it'll allow us to help connect with you, free coaching session. And, we can get on the road. We're gonna start quite a few different opportunities here coming up for the ability to subscribe to our email list or whatever that may be, or be more involved in these podcasts.
Yeah, get you some help.
Get you some help.
Give you a little bit of help here, because we've got to help you out. So we all need a little bit of help, don't we?
Absolutely. So.
Yeah, all right. All right, that's it, folks. You all have a great time and have a great weekend, and we'll be back at you next week.
Okay, take care. And a big shout out to some folks in Glasgow. I hope I'm saying that right, Scotland.
All right, nice.
We
both got Scottish heritage.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to say where I came, my Scottish heritage came from, because I understand that my family name is it's controversial. Let's just say that.
You let that out, there may be people out there hunting you.
Yeah, they might be. So I'm not from. I'm not in Scotland. I've never been to Scotland.
Oh, no.
Never been there. But
you weren't born there, but
Scottish by blood. So all right.
I have long memories.
Yeah, they do. All right, folks. Take care and have a great evening, and we will see you again next time.
All right. All the best, Dave.
With all of the issues facing organizations today, leadership development and cultural transformation are needed more than ever. Go to our website, Executive Leaders Act, ILEC.com. Book some time with us. Let's sit down and talk and get you on the path to success. This podcast was brought to you by Intelligent Leadership Executive Coaching, ILEC, the world's foremost authority on leadership development and cultural transformation. Once again, for Mainline Executive Coaching ACT, this is Rich Barron and Michael Bailey. Thank you for joining us, and take care.